found yourself questioning your sanity, always feeling at fault in your relationship and not knowing why? In this video, I'm going to discuss the complex and elusive world of covert narcissistic abuse. This kind of abuse is much harder to detect than other types. Covert narcissistic abuse is an insidious form of emotional manipulation that's often missed but leaves deep and lingering scars. A covert narcissist is not your typical boastful, attention-seeking, larger-than-life narcissist, which is often portrayed in popular culture. Instead, a covert narcissist is more like a sly, stealthy creature that operates behind the veil of victimhood and subtlety, making you question your own reality. This video will equip you with the tools to identify the subtle form of abuse, to understand its mechanisms, and most importantly, to reclaim your identity from the clutches of these manipulative tactics. Understanding is the foundation of healing. Even the Bible says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." So knowledge is a powerful tool to keep ourselves from becoming destroyed. And so by learning to recognize the signs of covert narcissistic abuse, you can start to dismantle the web of deception that's ensnared you. You can break free from the crippling cycles of self-doubt and empower yourself to stand in the truth. Now first, before we get into it, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Shaneen Megji. Welcome to my channel called Toxicity is Not Your Destiny. My mission is to help people navigate toxic relationships in their lives from a biblical, practical, and spiritual perspective. So if you'd like to receive regular content from me on this subject, take a moment right now, click on that subscribe button and click on the bell, because every single week I'm going to be bringing you videos to empower you in navigating toxic relationships in your life. So without further ado, let's dive into the subject. As I mentioned, when it comes to thinking about a narcissist, we may think of someone who is outwardly arrogant, grandiose, and attention-seeking. That's what we would call overt narcissism. But there is another side to the narcissism coin, one that's less showy, but equally, if not more damaging, and that is covert narcissism. So unlike their overt counterparts, covert narcissists do not openly showcase their self-importance, and they may realize that the narcissistic traits are a turnoff for people, so a lot of their traits go underground. They operate subtly, often flying under the radar with their manipulations. They are masters of passive aggression. They frequently play the victim, and they use all kinds of indirect methods to control and undermine others. They may not loudly demand your attention, but they crave it nonetheless, and they have all kinds of unique skills for getting it. Here are some examples of what a covert narcissist is like compared to an overt one. So while an overt narcissist might be like a visible mountain dominating the landscape, a covert narcissist is more like an iceberg, so only a small portion of their behavior is visible above the waterline, while the bulk of their manipulative actions all remain hidden right beneath the surface. Now, an overt narcissist is a lot like a direct, fast-acting venom, while the covert narcissist is more like a slow-acting poison. The harm they inflict is not immediately visible or apparent, but gradually it deteriorates your mental and emotional health over time. What makes covert narcissists so dangerous? It's really their ability to remain undetected, to subtly influence your thoughts, your feelings, and actions without you even realizing what's happening. They are masters of the silent treatment, of guilt tripping and gaslighting, leaving you feeling insecure, on edge, and often questioning your sanity. This distinction between overt and covert is crucial to grasp, because while the outward show of an overt narcissist can be easier to spot, the covert narcissist may leave you feeling confused, questioning whether the issue lies with them or with you. But trust me, it's not you. It's their skilled manipulation at work. And understanding this is a game changer. When you can identify covert narcissistic behavior for what it is, you can truly begin to heal, to regain your confidence, and reclaim your life from the shadows of this insidious form of abuse. So now that we understand the key differences between overt and covert narcissism, let's delve deeper into the traits of covert narcissists and how to recognize if you're being subjected to this kind of manipulation. Here are the key traits to look out for. Number 1, passive aggression. Covert narcissists might not openly express their contempt or hostility. Instead, they use all kinds of indirect ways to express their anger or resentment. And one of the common ways is through what is seemingly harmless humor or teasing. For example, imagine that you're at a social gathering. The covert narcissist with a smile might make a seemingly funny comment about a mistake you've made in the past, or bringing up some personal insecurity that you may have confided in them about. And all of this is framed as a joke, making everyone laugh, but for you, this is a painful reminder. And this is really a passive-aggressive way to belittle you in public, and it's done so subtly that if you were to object to it, you could be framed as seeming overly sensitive. Other indirect expressions include giving you the silent treatment, making snide comments, or forgetting things that are important to you. These people are masters in the art of subtle insult, as disguising their actions as innocent or accidental. And so you're left with the sting, and yet you're doubting whether it was intended or was it just in your head. This is all a strategic game of creating doubt and self-questioning, where they are the ones that are holding the reins. Number 2, hypersensitivity. Covert narcissists are extremely sensitive to criticism, no matter how constructive you make it out to be. They perceive it as a personal attack, and they will often react with defensiveness or retaliation. If you've ever felt like you're walking on eggshells, fearful of how they'll react to even the slightest critique, that is a classic sign of covert narcissism. Number 3, the tendency to play the victim. Covert narcissists are experts at turning situations around to make themselves appear as the victim, no matter the circumstance. Even when they've clearly done something wrong, they will still twist the narrative so they come off as the one who is injured. Remember, their world revolves around themselves. A scenario could be as simple as forgetting your birthday. So instead of the covert narcissist apologizing, they might turn it around saying, "I've been under so much stress and you don't seem to appreciate my efforts." Now, suddenly you're the one left comforting them instead of them addressing your hurt feelings about forgetting your birthday. Number 4, manipulation of emotions. This is a signature covert narcissistic trait. A covert narcissist has an uncanny ability to stir up emotions that can lead you to question your own perceptions, often creating drama to position themselves as the center of attention. They may also use guilt tripping as a method to gain sympathy and control. Consider a case where they make a mistake, and instead of owning it, they say something like, "Ugh, you're always so quick to point out my faults. Can't you see that I'm struggling?" Now, this is a tactic designed to deflect blame and make you feel guilty for calling them out. Recognizing these behaviors for what they are is the first step towards breaking free from their control. This is not about blaming. This is about gaining clarity and empowering ourselves to navigate these complex dynamics. The more we understand, the better we can protect our emotional health and well-being, the better we can heal and also walk in our God-given purpose. Now, let's talk about how to recognize covert narcissistic abuse in relationships. Covert narcissistic relationships often follow a pattern typically known as the cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard. Now, this cycle can leave you feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster, constantly trying to regain the initial high you had while dealing with all these sudden drops. Now, the idealization phase is really like the dawn of your journey where the sun is shining bright. Whether you're a woman seeing your prayers answered in the form of finding a loving husband, or a friend finding a friend and relishing this deep bond, or having a colleague at work and basking in unexpected praise from this coworker. The covert narcissist, what they do is they place you on a pedestal. They may lavish you with affection and attention and adoration. In this phase of idealization, The covert narcissist focus is not on your true essence. Rather, it is how your love, your admiration, and your respect serve as wind for their ego's sails. The narcissist is drawn to the reflection of themselves that they see in your admiring eyes, a reflection that boosts their self-esteem and satisfies their need for validation. It may seem like a mesmerizing dance that is captivating and dazzling and exciting, but really this is just the beginning of a journey that takes all kinds of unexpected twists and turns that can be very detrimental emotionally and spiritually. And this is where idealization shifts into the next phase of devaluation. The once clear skies and the sunny day of idealization now becomes overcast, and now there's uncertainty and emotional turmoil. The covert narcissist, be it a friend, a colleague, a parent, or even your adult child, begins to chip away at your self-esteem with a series of passive-aggressive comments, veiled criticisms, and disguised insults. As you navigate the turbulent waters of devaluation, you may find yourself yearning for the good times, the old times of the idealization phase, and you might try to do all kinds of things to restore the peace that once was or that you thought you had. But this quest is really as futile as trying to bottle a gust of wind. You're really up against a losing battle. Now, the next phase is the discard phase, and this is where the covert narcissist seems to suddenly change the course, leaving you adrift. This plays out in different ways across all types of relationships. In a marital bond, the husband or the wife might seem emotionally detached, uninterested, possibly moving on to a new source of admiration and attention, perhaps another person, and now you are left feeling abandoned with the echo of their affections ringing hollow from the idealization phase. With friendships, the friend who was once your cheerleader now becomes a stranger or a critic. Now your calls are left unanswered, your messages unread, and they may have replaced your bond with new friendships, new opportunities or contacts, leaving you feeling betrayed and forgotten. The discard phase can truly be a harsh jolt of reality, leaving you feeling used and discarded. Yet it's essential to recognize that this phase is not a reflection of your worth, but it's truly a symptom of the narcissist's cyclical pattern of behavior. This idealization, devaluation, and discard pattern is not a linear progression. Just know that. This is more of a cycle, and it's really like being caught in a whirlpool where you're constantly being sucked back into the current just as you think you've reached the calmer waters. The covert narcissists, what they do is they return to the idealization phase when they need their ego inflated again. So then they instigate a new round of the cycle. And this fluctuation between idealization, devaluation, and discard really creates a turbulent environment, leaving you perpetually off balance, second-guessing yourself, and scrambling to restore what once seemed like the perfect relationship. But remember, this is the narcissist pattern. This is not your destiny. So recognizing these stages is the first step towards breaking free from the cycle, taking back control, and navigating your way towards healthier shores, towards the plans and purposes that God has for you, because He has good plans for you. Now, one of the main damaging tactics used in the cycle of idealization and devaluation is gaslighting. This is psychological manipulation where the narcissist makes you question your perception of reality. So comments like, "Oh, you're too sensitive," or "you're misremembering things," are classic examples of gaslighting. And the aim of it is really to sow seeds of doubt and to make you reliant on them for what is true. And all this can lead to confusion, to self-doubt, and loss of your own self-esteem, your own sense of confidence. Gaslighting can be ever so subtle, but its effects are so profound. If you've ever found yourself questioning your memory, your judgment, or even your sanity in a relationship, just know that this is not you. This is gaslighting. So if you can identify with this, you might find yourself feeling confused, guilty, and feeling shame. You might be feeling responsible for the other person's happiness, and you're constantly walking on eggshells, striving to keep the peace. And the sense of guilt and shame can be overwhelming, especially when the narcissist is so good at playing the victim. But remember, these reactions are responses to abuse. They're not reflections of your personal failure. So here are some steps you can take if you find yourself in the situation. Number one, Get understanding about covert narcissism. Covert narcissists tend to hide in helping professions. They tend to look good on the outside, but they have a dark side, like a Jekyll and a Hyde personality. So learn more about what you're dealing with. The Bible says, as I mentioned earlier, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power, my friend. And once you have that, then you have clarity. Number 2, start to pray and ask God for wisdom and guidance on how to manage the relationship. Now, I understand that every relationship is different and there can be all kinds of complexities attached to relationships. Only God knows your life from start to finish, and your purpose, along with the lives and purposes of all the people that are touched by that relationship between you and that narcissist. So begin to ask God and make it an item of prayer. God surely hears the cries of the brokenhearted. He is not for your abuse. He has good plans and good intentions for your life. Number 3, I would confide what you're going through with some trusted people. Now, this can be tricky when you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist because they can have a very good public image, and so it's possible that you might be going through a secret nightmare and not many people see it or know about it or may even believe it. If you think you might be gaslighted by people you trust or people that may not believe what you're going through, then find a counselor or someone with the gift of counsel and wisdom who is not in your circle, who can listen to you and advise you. Number 4, document and record everything, but do this very discreetly because of how stealthy covert narcissists are. There will likely come a time when you will need documentation because you are dealing with a master manipulator who is used to gaslighting everyone and making people believe that they are the good guy and you are the problem. So you will need evidence and hard facts if ever things get ugly down the road. Remember this, the narcissist in your life has no power. They may act like they have all the power, but they are merely a traumatized human being who, in their frailty and inability to cope with the harsh elements of life, created a false self. And they spend every waking moment of their life fiercely protecting that false self by treating others like a punching bag. The narcissist has no power to dictate your worth or define who you are. They have not even succeeded in realizing their own worth or identity. They have rejected it. So how on earth can they speak into anyone else's? They can't. You're defined by who God says you are. Remember that. You are created in God's image, and God says about you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So hold on to that truth. Reject the lies of the narcissist. They hold no water. So I hope you found this video helpful or insightful, and if you did, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. And if you want to journey with me further into topics like this, do hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you'd like to get understanding on how to spot a narcissist before getting into a serious relationship, watch my next video on how to spot a narcissist. And this brings me to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.